Lock the doors and grab your biggest mug of coffee, ladies, because the leaked scripts for next week just landed on my desk, and what they are doing to Britt and this whole fake Nathan storyline is downright criminal. We have an exclusive insider leak that is going to completely change the landscape of Port Charles, and I am telling you right now, you are not ready for the absolute chaos that is about to unfold. If you thought the drama with Jen Sidwell was wild, just wait until you hear what is happening behind the scenes with our favorite runaway duo and the PCPD. This is the kind of sweeps week material that we live for, and I have all the delicious, jaw-dropping details right here. Right now, the situation on the canvas is incredibly suffocating. As we all know, Britt Westbourne and young Rocco Falconeri are currently on the run, hiding out in a secret cabin in the British Virgin Islands. The stakes have never been higher, ladies. Britt is deteriorating rapidly. Her Huntington's disease symptoms are flaring up with a vengeance, and without her proper medication, she is fading fast. Rocco is absolutely terrified. He is just a teenager, completely isolated from his family, watching the woman who has been trying to protect him slip away. In a moment of sheer, unadulterated panic, Rocco makes a desperate move. He reaches out to the one person he thinks might have the resources to help them, completely unaware of the massive web of lies surrounding this man. Rocco makes a secret call to Cassius And, the man currently masquerading as the beloved Nathan West. If you ask me, this is where the upcoming episodes are going to get incredibly dark and twisty. Cassius might be a villain, and he might be deeply entrenched in Ross Cullum's sinister operations, but Britt is still his sister. That twisted Faison bloodline carries a strange sense of loyalty. According to my insider leak, when Cassius receives that frantic call from Rocco, a rare moment of genuine panic strikes him. He realizes that if he does not act immediately, his sister is going to die in some remote cabin. So, what does our resident imposter do? He decides to play the hero in his own twisted narrative. Cassius orchestrates a highly dangerous move to secretly steal a fresh supply of Huntington's medication from General Hospital. He plans to smuggle these life-saving drugs directly to Britt's secret hideout. It sounds like a redemption arc in the making, right? Well, hold on to your hats, ladies, because this is where the leaked script takes a horrifying turn. Ross Cullum, the dirtiest WSB agent to ever walk the streets of Port Charles, is always one step ahead. Cullum is a master manipulator, a ruthless puppet master who sees everyone as a disposable pawn in his grand scheme. He discovers Cassius's secret plan to deliver the medication, but instead of stopping Cassius, Cullum decides to use this opportunity to tie up a massive loose end. Cullum knows that Britt and Rocco are liabilities. They know too much, they have seen too much, and they are a direct threat to his cold fusion project and his alliance with Jen Sidwell. So, in a move of pure, unadulterated evil, Cullum intercepts the stolen medication. He carefully, meticulously swaps out the life-saving Huntington's pills with a fast-acting lethal poison. Just imagine the sheer horror of this setup, guys. Cassius, desperately trying to do one good thing, is unknowingly carrying a death sentence directly to his own sister. He is walking right into a trap that will make him the unwitting executioner of Britt Westbourne. The dramatic irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Cullum expects Cassius to deliver the poison, Britt to take it and die, and Rocco to be left defenseless, all while Cassius takes the fall for murdering his own flesh and blood. It is a diabolical masterstroke that only a true soap opera villain could pull off. But Cullum and Cassius both have a massive blind spot, and his name is Detective Joe Fitzpatrick. Let us talk about Joe for a minute. Ever since this newcomer arrived at the PCPD, he has been sharp, observant, and highly suspicious of how easily Jen Sidwell managed to escape custody. Joe has been quietly putting the pieces together, and according to this massive casting shakeup and leaked intel, Joe has been conducting a highly classified secret investigation into his own colleague. Joe noticed the red flags surrounding the man claiming to be Nathan West. He noticed the inconsistencies in his police reports, the strange burner phone calls, and the unexplainable absences. Joe is no fool, ladies. He has been secretly tracking Cassius's every move, digging into his digital footprint, and monitoring his shadow activities. When Cassius makes his move to steal the medication, Joe is right there in the shadows, watching the entire thing unfold. But Joe is a brilliant detective. He does not just bust Cassius for theft. He follows the trail. He watches as the medication changes hands, and through some incredible police work, Joe uncovers Cullum's sinister interference. Joe realizes that the pills Cassius is so desperately trying to deliver are not a cure. They are a lethal dose of poison. Suddenly, Joe's secret internal affairs investigation turns into a high-stakes rescue mission. He knows exactly where Cassius is heading, and he knows that if he does not intervene, Britt Westbourne is going to take her last breath in that remote cabin. This leads us to what is guaranteed to be the most heart-stopping climax of the entire sweeps week. Picture this. Cassius finally arrives at the secret hideout in Tortola. He bursts through the door, finding a terrified Rocco and a nearly unconscious Britt. Cassius plays the savior, rushing to Britt's side, pulling out the pill bottle that he believes will save her life. He pours the capsules into his hand, urging his sister to swallow them quickly. Rocco is crying tears of relief, believing that their nightmare is finally over. Britt weakly reaches out, her trembling fingers brushing against the very poison that will stop her heart. The tension is going to be absolutely unbearable. You will be screaming at your television screens! But just as Britt is about to put the pill in her mouth, the cabin door is kicked wide open. In storms Joe Fitzpatrick, gun drawn, badge flashing, radiating absolute authority. Joe does not hesitate for a single second. He lunges forward, smacking the pills out of Cassius's hand, sending the deadly capsules scattering across the wooden floorboards. The room erupts into pure chaos. Cassius is furious, screaming at Joe, demanding to know what he is doing, accusing him of trying to kill Britt by denying her the medication. Rocco is completely frozen in shock, while Britt barely has the strength to comprehend the madness unfolding around her. This is where Joe takes complete control of the narrative. With cold, calculated precision, Joe looks Cassius dead in the eye and drops the ultimate bombshell. He reveals that he has been tracking Cassius for weeks. He reveals that he knows exactly who Cassius really is, stripping away the fake Nathan facade right then and there. But more importantly, Joe points to the scattered pills on the floor and reveals the horrifying truth. He tells Cassius that the medication was intercepted by Ross Cullum. Joe produces a portable chemical testing kit, or perhaps he forces a local pest to consume a crumb of the pill and proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the capsules are laced with a highly concentrated, lethal poison. I can only imagine the look on Cassius's face when the reality of the situation crashes down on him. The sheer psychological devastation of realizing that he was completely played by Cullum, and that he was mere seconds away from murdering his own sister with his bare hands. Cassius is going to absolutely break down, ladies. The guilt, the horror, the betrayal, it is going to be a masterclass in acting. He thought he was Cullum's partner, but he realizes he was just a disposable tool meant to execute Cullum's dirty work. Britt is left gasping in shock, realizing how close she came to a gruesome death, while Rocco finally understands the true depth of the danger they are in. But Joe Fitzpatrick is not done yet. If you ask me, Joe is playing three-dimensional chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Joe could easily arrest Cassius right then and there. He could slap the cuffs on him, drag him back to Port Charles, and lock him away for a very long time. But Joe has a much bigger, much more ambitious master plan. Joe wants to clean up the entire city, and he knows that Cassius is the key to bringing down the real big bad. Joe pulls Cassius aside and offers him a very dark, very tense ultimatum. He proposes a temporary cover-up. Joe agrees to keep Cassius's crimes, his theft, his impersonation, his involvement with Sidwell a secret for just a little while longer, but in exchange, Cassius must become Joe's personal informant and weapon against Ross Cullum. Joe's ultimate goal is incredibly calculated. He wants to rack up the biggest career victory in PCPD history. He wants to be the undeniable hero who saves Britt and Rocco from the brink of death. He wants to gather enough ironclad evidence to permanently put Ross Cullum in a federal prison cell, dismantling his entire cold fusion operation and his ties to the WSB. And then, once Cullum is completely neutralized, Joe plans to turn right around and put Cassius in prison too. Joe is not offering Cassius a get-out-of-jail-free card. He is offering him a temporary stay of execution in exchange for his complete and total cooperation. It is a brilliant, ruthless strategy that shows just how far Joe is willing to go for justice. Cassius is backed into an impossible corner. He looks at his sister, frail and traumatized on the bed. He looks at the poison scattered on the floor, a stark reminder of Cullum's absolute betrayal. Cassius knows that his time pretending to be Nathan West is officially over. The walls have completely closed in. But in this moment of absolute despair, Cassius sees a tiny glimmer of purpose. He agrees to Joe's terms. Cassius decides that if he is going down, he is going to make absolutely sure that Ross Cullum goes down with him. This is going to be Cassius's ultimate redemption arc, ladies. He is agreeing to walk back into the lion's den, pretending that everything is fine, all while secretly feeding Joe the evidence needed to destroy Cullum's empire. We are looking at a massive, explosive showdown in the coming weeks. Cassius and Joe forming this unholy secret alliance is going to generate some of the best tension this show has seen in years. How long can Joe keep this massive secret from Dante, Lulu, and the rest of the department? How will Cassius manage to look Cullum in the eye, knowing the man tried to trick him into murdering his sister? And what happens when Joe finally springs the trap, bringing both of these villains to their knees? I want to hear from all of you in the comments section below. Do you think Joe Fitzpatrick has what it takes to outsmart both Cassius and Cullum, or is he biting off way more than he can chew? And do you believe that Cassius truly wants redemption, or will he try to double-cross Joe at the last possible second to save his own skin? Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your wildest predictions down below, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update on all the explosive drama happening in Port Charles.